What's going on, guys? Got another instant reaction here from the Connor and Mark Show. Make sure you click that subscribe button as well and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Connor and Mark Show. A lot going on here this weekend. March Madness is fully underway in full swing, and we got lots of games to talk about from starting from earlier this weekend on till now with the Sweet 16 coming up and then games being played as of right now. Texas Tech just finished up with Arkansas as Arkansas barely squeaked by, and Villanova, as the time of recording this right now, is about to be underway with North Texas. But Mark, how's your bracket holding up so far?
Bracket looked pretty good before today, and then Texas Tech happened, as you just alluded to, which is tough. Had them in the Final Four, and then I have Houston as well in the Final Four, so need them to squeak it out. And like you said, currently recording on Sunday around 8:45. So Houston is playing Rutgers right now, down 43-35. But man, aside from my bracket, this has been like one of the craziest NCAA tournaments that I can remember. 9 upsets in the first round, so the round of 64, and 2 so far today. And those teams look legit that upset it today. Those teams being Syracuse and
Loyola Chicago
and Loyola Chicago, over Illinois. So both of those teams look like they can play, and just backtracking into this entire week, man, since Friday. I don't know about you, but I feel like no other sports have really existed outside of the tournament, because all day, every day for the past 3 days, it's been all college basketball. But I'm really interested in all these games, man. I know we're going to dive into some that intrigue us tomorrow, but it's been nothing short of what was expected and beyond, honestly, since there was no tournament last year.
We had Abilene Christian knocking down Texas, and ladies and gentlemen, Texas is still not back. UCLA beat BYU 11-6. We had Maryland beat Connecticut, which was at 10-7, and Ohio, number 13. I picked them the least cover. They beat Virginia 62-58. There's a lot of games on here that just pop out and being a surprise upsets, but. Obviously, the biggest ones, obviously, VCU and Oregon. They didn't get a chance to play. VCU contracted, obviously, coronavirus. So Oregon, gets the game or gets the win. And I think they'll be playing tomorrow, I believe.
They'll play Iowa at 12:10 tomorrow.
That's what. So they bypass VCU and face a very tough Iowa game. So, but as it's coming up right now, and I know that there's a Philly Sports podcast, but Villanova is set to do battle with North Texas, number 13 seed, who upset obviously in the round of 64 and found its way against Villanova. I was surprised, obviously, that Villanova won their first game, how banged up they were. I picked actually Winthrop to at least cover, but that did not happen. Villanova in the second half really turned it on and right past Winthrop. So now they're going to be one win away from the old Sweet 16 for Jay Wright and the Wildcats. So what do you think from this game? What are you expecting? As it currently stands right now, Villanova is a 6.5 point favorite, or a 6 point favorite. So what do you think about that line? What do you think about the game coming up right now?
I mean, from what I saw from North Texas on Friday against Purdue, who in my opinion, was a pretty good team coming out of the Big Ten, I thought they played really well. They shot just over 47% from the field, which is really good. Just about 43% from three-point, and they were money from the free throw line, going 13 for 15, equating to about 87%. So, with those type of numbers they put up Friday, they proved they can play. They got some, productivity throughout the lineup, had multiple guys in double digits. So, I'm hoping Villanova will win this one tonight. I think Jay Wright is as he proved, a very resilient coach and got his team back on track after an early exit in the Big East tournament. But I expect Villanova to win. I think it's going to be closer than 6 points. I think it's going to come down to the wire and be a closer game than people think. But I'm expecting Villanova to move on here past no other than the Mean Green from North Texas.
Yeah, I'm very shocked that we got to this point with the Mean Green will be this far in the tournament. We'll be playing Villanova, but I believe if Villanova wins, they'll be playing Baylor next round, I believe, and that'll obviously be a tough
they will play Baylor.
Yeah, it'll be a tough matchup, and you don't want to look too far ahead. But this, Villanova, they're I'm looking at the rest of their bracket and their division. It's not as tough as I thought it would look. I mean, there's a lot of teams that have upset a lot of other teams. So there's a lot of, higher ranked seeded teams going farther than they should. But, Villanova can find a way to, heat it up a little bit. They can find themselves in the Final Four if they, win 2-3 games in a row here. And, I know that Colin Gillespie, and that's a huge loss that happened earlier in the season, but, that'd be amazing coaching job by Jay Wright. He could find a way to get this Wildcats team, a deep run.
Yeah, and just like you said, and I mean, banged up with Gillespie, their number one guy, and I believe a lot of people were counting them out against Winthrop, just nationwide, and they really came out. They looked really good, like you said, in the second half. They just turned it up to a new level, and this is a team, especially again with a leader like Jay Wright, as being their coach, they can pick up some fire, and if they can, face some easier teams in this bracket, they could find a easier route, obviously, to the Final Four and possibly even further. So I'm excited for tonight. Obviously, it's a very weird matchup against North Texas, as they're really not known to be a big basketball school. But I think Villanova has their hands full here, and in this tournament, anybody can win. So they have to come out prepared, and I'm excited definitely to watch that game along with the other late game.
Yeah, Oregon State and Oklahoma State. I know you put money or you bet on Oregon State to at least cover the 6 points from Oklahoma State. Cade Cunningham obviously is a big name. Looks like he's going to be the number 1 pick in the NBA draft in the summer. What do you think about this game, and what do you expect?
Yeah, I really like Oregon State here to cover, most definitely. I think they're going to make it a very good game. They've really showed that they are a complete basketball team, and they weren't just a one and done heater in the Pac-12. Obviously, they were projected to come into this season as the worst team in the Pac-12, and they proved that wrong. They just stomped over Tennessee on Friday, made a statement. So I think this team is for real, and they're just not a first show team. And Oklahoma State, again, the funny thing about this seeding this year, it's very tough to tell with COVID, I guess, impact and, the amount of games they played and who they played. So I want to look at this as really a 12 versus 4. I think this is a much closer game than, Vegas is indicating in the spread. But I really think Oregon State could give them a game. And personally, I have Oregon State as, going to the Sweet 16. So I picked them as one of my sleepers before this tournament, and I'm sticking true. I think Oregon State can advance here.
All right. Well, tomorrow, obviously, there's lots of games that could be, concluding the rest of the round of 32. One game that sticks out to me, obviously, I picked Ohio yesterday against Virginia to at least cover. They not only did cover, they ended up winning the game against Virginia, and they're going to be playing against Creighton tomorrow at 6-10. The spread right now is 5.5 for Creighton. I'm going to say Ohio at least covers it. So plus 5.5, I'm going Ohio. I think there's a chance they beat Creighton too. I know, like we were talking about before the show, they're inconsistent. I don't know if you can rely on them. But Ohio looked really good against Virginia, and I know Virginia is not a great offensive team, but I think that if Ohio can, carry that, fire in the next game, I think there's a good chance they can beat Creighton and find themselves in the Sweet 16. So what about you? What do you think about tomorrow, and what game sticks out to you?
Yeah, first, I just want to touch on that Ohio Creighton point. I think, that's a great pick only because Ohio was coming into that second half the other night against Virginia. It was pretty close, and they took over at the end. And that's something in this tournament, definitely when you're playing only a day apart or a day or two apart, the momentum's still there. And I feel like they can definitely ride it in against this Creighton team that really struggled against UC SB. But a game that really stands out to me, and again, it's the seeding that makes this intriguing to me. It's LSU and Michigan, and I'm Michigan winning my bracket. But personally, this LSU team really displayed some great play throughout the regular season. I believe they won the SEC championship. I know they were in the SEC championship game, but again, an 8 seed versus a 1 seed, it's really not like that type of game. I think it's more of a, it could be like a 4 versus 1. LSU could be a 4. So again, I think this is going to be closer than the spread indicates, but I think Michigan's going to pull it out late, but LSU is definitely going to give them a tough time.
No, I agree. And make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Connor Mark Show. It's a click that subscribe button as well. Thanks everybody for listening. And listen, there's a lot more March Madness could be going on for the next couple of weeks, and we'll be putting out more videos as well on March Madness. But not only March Madness, 76ers with a big win last night against Sacramento. The Flyers, who are struggling, it's really bad, obviously, with the Flyers. We'll have to take a deep dive into that on an own podcast. So make sure
we're going to need more than 10 minutes to.
Yeah, we're going to need more than 2 hours, I think. And also later this week, we're going to have Jonathan Kincaid on, who has a morning show on 975 Fanatic. We're going to talk about, obviously, the Flyers, like we alluded to, Sixers, Eagles, Phillies, everything on the docket with John Kincaid. So it's going to be exciting as well. So make sure you subscribe and follow us on social media.